मित्रों नमस्कार. You're welcome in your channel Atma Se Paramatma. In the second part today, I will try to draw your attention on some important characteristic symptoms of awakened Kundalini. These characteristics of awakened Kundalini are likewise: when at morning and evening hours punctually and automatically your body becomes charged with such of the divine influences, and body, mind, and prana become overpowered by her, know that Goddess Kundalini is rightly functioning. Next, when seated for meditation, your sight becomes fixed on the mid of eyebrows, your tongue rises up for khichdi, breath stops altogether, and mind plunges into the ocean of bliss. Sambhavi Mudra operates, and you experience the pleasure of Savikalpa Samadhi. Know that subtle power of Kundalini is in action. Next, when you are in meditation, future unfolds its secrets to you, or the hidden meaning of scriptures, Vedas, and Vedanta shine on your understanding. All doubts vanish. You acquire an insight into the abstruse meaning of the work on spiritual science. Even at their first glance, you acquire strange powers of oratory and feel not the need of approaching even Brahma, the Creator Himself, for knowledge, and you acquire self confidence. Understand then that Kundalini, the bestower of Siddhis, that is, occult powers, has come into action. Next, when you are in meditation, you see visions, divine, and fall in a dreamy state of mind, have divine smells, see divine figures, feel divine tastes, hear divine sounds, and experience divine touch, and receive instructions from gods. Then understand that the divine power of Kundalini has come into action. Next, while walking, when your mind is filled with an impulse to walk faster and your feet begin to move a running, you feel your body light like air and do not feel fatigued. Even having walked long enough, you feel buoyant and joyful. You are not unhappy. Even in dreams, you can keep the balance of your mind undisturbed in all ups and downs, and you acquire an inexhaustible energy for work. Know that Brahma Shakti Kundalini has come into action. Next, when you feel intoxicated without taking any drug while walking, your steps fall majestically or like one drunk, and you are unable to do any other work, and you like to remain mute and dislike speaking to or hearing others, and you feel like one drunk of divinity. Know that your Atma Shakti Kundalini, the power of self, has come into action. Next, as soon as you sit for prayers, your body begins to shake, and in ecstasy of joy, you begin to sing hymns in tones of music charming to hear, and whose composition and poetry come out involuntarily. your hands giving a rhythmical clapping, and you pronounce languages you know not, but the sound ecstatizes your mind. Know that the goddess of speech, Saraswati, has awakened into action. Next, when all day and night you feel within your body some activity of prana, and whenever you concentrate your mind, your body at once begins to shake or begins tossing, and your mind remains filled with joy and bliss at all times. Even when at call of nature, even during sleep, you feel currents of prana rising up in your sahasrara, and even in dreams, you experience her presence. Know that the joy inspiring Kundalini has come into action. Next, when you feel vibrations of prana at different stations inside your body and feel its flow wherever you fix your attention, and your nerves begin to show easy jerks like jerks of electricity as if passing through them. Know that the goddess Kundalini has come into action. Next, when no sooner you have sat with eyes closed than in an instant the body begins to show activity of throwing out limbs. Forcibly deformed sounds are loudly uttered. Your speech begins to utter sounds like those of animals, birds, and frogs, or of a lion, or like those of jackals, dogs, tigers, fear inspiring and not pleasing to hear. Understand that the great goddess Kundalini has come into action. Next, when your mind gets influenced spiritually as if some spirit has taken possession of your body, and under that influence different postures of yoga are involuntarily performed without the least pain or fatigue, and you feel increasingly buoyant and simultaneously strange sort of breathing exercises start. Think that the divine power of Kundalini has come into action. Next, when with the closing of eyelids your body falls to the ground or begins to rotate like a grinding stone and breath comes not out, the body is squatted on floor, cross-legged, begins to jump from place to place like a frog, or moves from place to place, or lies down like one dead. Hands may not be lifted even if so desired. You feel contraction of nerves. You feel as if your life is passing away. The body undergoes convulsion like a dying fish. Know that Yog Maya Kundalini has come into action. Next, when different kind of knot become audible in your spinal column, you experience vibrations, feeling of bodily existence for the time being is lost. In other words, you feel as if there is nobody. Everything looks vacant. Your eyelids become closed and open not in spite of your efforts. Electricity like currents seem flowing up and down the nerves, and you have convulsions. Know that Mahamaya Kundalini has come into action. Next, when you feel currents of prana rising up your cerebrum Within you, automatic repetition of Om starts, and the mind experiences waves after waves of blissful beatitude. Think the universal Mother Kundalini has come into action. Next, when your posture becomes fixed and sight is attracted towards the middle point of eyebrows, the eyeballs begin to revolve, you get automatic Keval Kumbhak, cessation of breath comes with no effort for inhaling or exhaling, and the mind becomes vacant, void of all outward knowledge. Understand that Mahamaya, the firstborn Sakti, the goddess Kundalini, has come into action. Next, when your posture becomes fixed, Uddiyana, Jalandhar, and Moolabandha comes involuntarily, your tongue reverts back or rises up towards the soft palate, and the whole body becomes so active that you are unable to sit still. Your hands and legs stretch out forcibly. You ought to know that the divine power of Goddess Kundalini has come into action. Next, when your body begins trembling, hair stand on roots, you laugh or begin to weep without your wishing, your tongue begins to utter deformed sounds, you are filled with fear or see frightening visions, semen passes out, think that the Kundalini Shakti has become active. Finally, when throbbing of Mooladhara begins, the whole body shakes, involuntary kumbhak, that is filling in of the lungs with air, starts beyond control. Breath is forcibly exhaled out without volition. Deep inhaling and exhaling of breath starts, and the body gets uncontrollable. Know then that Kundalini has awakened. You then should give up your assertion and sit witnessing what happens. Dear friends, that's all in today's session of some characteristic symptoms of awakened Kundalini. Hare Krishna.